So, Glock 17, Glock 19, Gen 3, Gen 4. Couple differences, they come apart the same. Let's take a look. So, my Glock 17, this is the one I compete with. First off, it's empty. Pull the trigger. Right here, on both sides. Rock it back. Now if you hold it, just like this, and you rock that slide back just a little bit, pull down on both sides, comes right off. Clear, pull the trigger. Rock it back, down both sides, comes right off. Gen 4, Gen 3, there's your main difference right there. Aside from the grips. This has 4 different back straps to it, or you can also just leave this back strap off. The Gen 3 is just, that's what you get, just like this. Preferably, I like the Gen 3 better, but that's just personal preference. So, to get the barrel out, simply remove the spring, lift up on the barrel, pull it out. It's also same with the Gen 4. Take out the spring, lift up the barrel, pull it out, and there you go. Now, if you want to take it down further than that, I have a punch. They actually make a tool for this, but basically it's a punch. Take out your roll pin. There's another roll pin right there. Take that one out. Now, there's a bigger roll pin right there. The very first time you try to take out this large roll pin, it's going to suck. That's just the way they are. All the Glocks I've had, and still have, the very first time I ever took that apart, it was nothing less than a pain in the ass. So, with those out of there, you can now lift up this entire assembly and pull it out. And there are your 3 pieces. Pretty darn simple. And the same is true for this one here. It's no different. You've got your pin here, you've got your 2 pins here, and everything just lifts out as one assembly. On this particular gun, there's a few things I changed. Let's take a look at them. So I put a ghost connect rod in mine, which is right here. This lightens the trigger up to an advertised 3 to 3.5 pounds. What I did was I polished this connect bar here. I polished everything in here really. I put a spring kit in it, which includes your trigger spring, your firing pin spring, which is down under here, and I just changed this completely with a 15-pound spring. So my trigger right now is sitting just over 2.5 pounds. So when I go to clean this gun, I simply spray this out and brush it up a little bit, put a little bit of lube on it. The 3-2-1, it's there's 3 drops, 2 drops, 1 drop in a sequence on different parts of the gun. We're not going to go over that here because I'm not cleaning it. But the other thing I did was I put a this is a Lone Wolf barrel, 6-inch ported, very good barrel. super accurate too. So let's put this thing back together. So before I guess I should show you how to take this apart. It's pretty easy too. I take a small screwdriver, and maybe you can see right here, there's kind of an opening right there. And I just work that up in there, being careful, until you hear it pop. Now this is where you need to put your thumb over stuff, slide this plate out. Otherwise, things will go flying. So, there's your firing pin. Take that out. Now, there's your striker button there. Hold it on its side, push on the button, your ejector comes out. Now, I hold this thing like this, I pull that out. It's important that this thing goes back in just like this. That spring cannot turn at all. I've had this happen to me. If that spring turns and gets in there cockeyed or sideways, it will go full auto, and you can't stop it till the clip is empty. So I'm going to put this in here so I can see that the spring is going up in that hole just the way I want it to. Now I can take my ejector, drop that in there, push the button, and release it. That locks it in. I can put this back in, put my firing pin back in. There you go. Now, you've got your cover here, and it's got some little metal tabs on both sides, and there's grooves on both sides of the slide. So what I do is I get that started in there. I just take my thumb and I push it down until it slides up. Now to get it the rest of the way, I take my punch, push that down, snap it in. Okay, that is now reassembled. So let's get back to the rest of the gun. All right, we're going to put our trigger assembly back in. So down through the hole here. And that slides in the back over here, just like so. Slides in like so. I take my top pin here and I push this in first. Now I take my slide release. There's a slot right there it drops into, falls into place, and you can kind of look through this hole here and see when it's kind of lined up. I take my other pin, push that through, that's locked in. I take the last pin, put it in the rear, locking my trigger mechanism in there. Now, I drop in a barrel, and round side goes toward the front, flat's always toward the back. Make sure that you get it down in the right groove here, which happens to be the bottom one. That's in there just like so. Now, you've got your rails here that the slide goes on. Line those up like so. Lock back on. Pull the trigger. Here's a good test. Keep the trigger depressed. Pull it back, slide it forward. Slowly release the trigger. Clicks, pull it again. If that striker spring is upside down, or not upside down, but sideways or kinked in any way, that will not, it'll just automatically fire as soon as you let that slide drop. So again, the Gen 4 is the same way. All the workings are the same. So we'll take the barrel, put the barrel in. There we go. Now, rounded side up toward the front, flat side in the back. Got it seated all the way. Line up your sides. No, I didn't put, there you go. So, just like that. It's extremely simple. Got any questions, put them in the comments below. Be happy to answer them. Thanks for watching, guys.